Okay, so hi, good evening, everyone. Today we are very honored to have two other fellow speakers together with myself. We are going to talk about scaling social impact startup in Southeast Asia. All right, so if you see, this screen, there's a QR code there. If you are actually interested to actually join us for other panel discussion, you can feel free to scan the QR code, to the website, and where you can actually find some of the events as well as some of the other, courses about entrepreneurship. Okay. So thanks for joining us today. All right, so speakers here today, we have three speakers. Number one, first one, we have Mr. Lip Chau Yapp, the founder as well as the community manager of Learning Tigers. So I'll leave it to the speaker to introduce themselves further later, and you can feel free to connect with us, via scanning the QR code to our LinkedIn profile, right? So secondly, we have Mr. Roslan from DLM, we call it. I can't speak, Malay, so I can't really pronounce the name. So
Yes,
maybe Roslan can actually, further explain what does it, mean to our, fellow, attendees here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yep. So, and I myself, Ms. Jesslyn Bay, Group CEO of Blackstone Consulting, which is a business consultancy firm that scale company in Southeast Asia. Okay. So today's session is actually sponsored by, us individual companies. So Learning Tigers, DLM, as well as Blackstone Consulting. Okay. So without further ado, let me off this screen, and then we will go into a discussion on a set of interesting questions about bring impact, helping impact company to actually scale in Southeast Asia. All right. But before I begin, perhaps we will let the speakers to actually do further introduction about themselves. Maybe we can start off with Mr. Lip Chau.
All right, thank you, Jesslyn. Great to be here in this session today. Actually, it's a very well-run, a series of topics, so I'm really grateful to be in this one. A quick introduction about myself and what we do. So my name is Lip Chau, as you know. I'm a founder of the Learning Tigers. So Learning Tigers is a platform where parents like many of you here, and students and passionate educators gather in a vibrant online learning ecosystem. So what we do is we turn teaching resources into affordable and accessible classes to bridge the gaps in teaching and learning through technology. So part of the classes that Learning Tigers offers are, enrichment classes such as languages, musical instruments, public speaking, martial arts, and also academic-based classes for primary and secondary students. So currently, we just launched our platform, the automated platform last month. So it's still pretty new for us, but it's a good journey that we have been so far, and looking forward to learn from you guys as well. So that's a quick introduction about myself. Maybe Roslan can go ahead with the other one. Roslan.
Right. Thank you, Lip Chau. Thank you, Jesslyn. Hi, everyone. My name is Roslan Wahab. I'm actually the founder, or I prefer to use the title business manager because I'm a bit old-fashioned, of Dura LLE Marketing. It's too long a name, but the name is actually shared with my co-founders. It has got its own meaning, actually. It's actually the diamond in the middle of the night. So that's the name. Okay, that it's actually Arabic name. So we started off as a selling products, food products, dry food products online. But during the COVID-19 in 2020, we pivot into donation kind of business. The reason being because a lot of people asking us to donate food products. So eventually we thought this can be a good thing. So that's how we came about with, doing the donation business. And later on, we can share about why we blockchain later on. So that's a brief introduction. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I myself, basically a consultant. Look at the name, you will know. And in terms of the name wise, maybe I can further elaborate on it. We are not Blackstone. Blackstone is very popular, the big company, not affiliated to them. Basically, why we actually name Blackstone Consulting is because we want to actually making sure that our client as well as ourselves is always in black. Okay, I'll leave it for a
I
while.
see. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which means the financial statement will never be red, it's always in black, which profitable. Okay.
I see.
So that's how we actually came up with the black word. And then the second word, storm, basically as a consultancy company, we always feel that there are a few ways to actually provide consultancy services. One way is to, you go in, drag along, just provide some of the information, tell them certain formulas, A, B, but don't tell the C, so that along the way, you can actually hire consultant for a long period of time. And that's how consultants actually earn, right? So what we actually like to do it differently is we like to scale company within 100 days. Not that we will grow a unicorn within 100 days, but more about, within 100 days, you have your first set of objectives. So let's meet your first set of objectives, and that's how we actually want to actually scale our company aggressively, like a storm.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah. So I think in terms of impact company, social impact company, probably I'm not the best out of the speakers here to talk about it. We can learn a lot from Lip Chau as well as Roslan later. But I can share the perspective whereby some of the companies that we actually work with, in that perspective itself. Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So
Great.
Yeah. Perhaps maybe first topic we can actually discuss a little bit, some of the key challenges that social impact startup face when it comes to scaling in Southeast Asia. Is there any special challenges that yourself or your peers actually face in this industry? Yeah.
I think Lip Chau should answer first.
I think I can put an attempt to that. I mean, one of the biggest challenges for social impact startups is, let's face it, it's the securing funding and investment, right? So many investors may be hesitant to invest in startups that prioritize social impact over profit, or may not be familiar with the unique challenges faced by these startups. So that's why it's very important for the regulators or government agencies to help by creating policies that encourage impact investment and provide potential tax incentives to investors who support social enterprises, right? So that's one thing that the social impact startup can do as well. They can also work to educate the investors about the benefits of social impact investing and seek out for other investors who are also aligned in their mission. So finding the right people will be important. That's my thought about it.
Yeah. One thing I probably feel that funding is one thing. It seems like there are more and more funds that actually look into having some impact. ESG's portion is actually pretty loud nowadays, right? But the thing is it seems like because of this aspect, most of the company will try to actually have some form of ESG element to it, but sometimes it may not create certain impact, and as a result, right, as an investor itself, they will still feel that I still need a commercial element to it. As a social company, if you can't give me any value in terms of that I can actually earn money, right? At the end of the day, even though you bring social impact, but you may not be the right person for them to actually invest in. So, I mean, that's the first challenge I feel. I'm not sure about, what do y'all think? And then, of course, the second one also, impact company, it's very vague. How do you define impact in general? Yeah,
Yes.
maybe you can hear more from Roslan on that.
Yeah. Okay. In my opinion, the impact, the social impact, the word social impact actually, how we bring changes to the society and the environment. So that's the main thing about the defining of the social impact. And the companies that can do this, of course, it's called a social impact companies, but there are also NGOs who can do social impact activities. So there are differences between NGOs because they are NGOs, they're not really profit-oriented organizations. But for us, the social impact company, we are actually doing a lot of actions or activities that trying to give impact to the society or the environment, etc., etc. But we do it with a sustainable financial model. So a lot of people think that for a social impact, they think that we are not making money. And therefore, investors usually shy away from the social impact business, but that is not the case. A lot of social impact businesses actually do make money. And these are the things that I think I agree with Lip Chau in terms of how we convince the investors that we actually can have a good business model running a social impact businesses. But these are the things, as you said just now, Lip Chau, the challenges is there, and it's up to us how we're going to explain to the investors. Another thing that I want to share with Lip Chau is that when we talk about the challenges, I myself face a different set of challenges, because the social impact that we're doing is actually more like on donation. So when we talk about donation, people always think we are like begging for money, you know, to help others. So as if we are, you know, like running around trying to bring a, you know, bucket of, you know, to put money inside. These are the perceptions when we start to do the donation kind of business. And I'm trying to find ways to overcome the challenges like that. And these are one of the hardest one that we face, trying to change the stigma that we're not beggars, we are trying to help the poor, you know, and we are trying to invite the society together. We can give some changes to the poor. We can make them to be independent. So part of our mission is actually to make the poor to be independent within 1 to 2 years. We try to bring them away or out of the poverty that they are facing at the moment. So these are the challenges that I'm facing, our team is facing at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like at the end of the day, it's more about the branding.
Yeah, very well said, Laura.
Yeah, and misconception, you know.
Yes.
The few aspects. Yeah. Lip Chau, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just commenting on Roslan's input just now. It's really tough to, you know, to educate the donator, you know, the people who donate and you know, investors who want to really invest in these social impact companies. I like one thing that you said just now, Roslan, you mentioned how to the economy, right? So one way that as well, and that is why we are in the education line and hoping to make the impact to this group of people, especially the underprivileged children, or even the B40 families in, you know, the communities in the rural areas. Because what we see from the education field is that the resources, right, the teaching resources is not equally distributed. It's you know, in big cities there may be a lot of resources, but in smaller towns or rural areas, the opportunities are scarce. It is how we as
yeah, sorry, Lip Chau, we are actually losing you. I think it's lagging on your end.
You know, wish to penetrate into these communities as well to. Okay, can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of broken a bit, you know, in between. So it's okay. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was just talking about the you know, the resource distribution. How the smaller towns or you know, rural areas are a lack of these resources, and this is how you know, distributing all these resources through online classes may help them to uplift them from you know, from their status. Yeah. Did you get the point just now?
Yes, about the education. Yeah. All right.
Distribution of resources, I think what you mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Very
All right.
good.
Yeah. So very interesting. So like, you know, Roslan, maybe to actually learn a little bit more, because we understand that, your company, you do have the donation drive, while at the same time you also do like, as a social enterprise, that must be a way to actually earn money from there, right? Is, in terms of like working with like, collaborate other partners, other collaborators who are whether in this space or whether not in this space, right? How receptive are they, in terms of like joining you to actually, scale the impact that you actually have?
Okay, this is interesting questions, because during the past 6 months, we've been trying to get some collaborators with us to join us and to see our visions and stuff like that. Of course, some of them feel that it's like, it's not easy to actually work together. Nevertheless, we have experimented with some companies, and we've also tried to experiment with an international company, international organization. We did this in January or February during the earthquake of Turkey and Syria. We got this opportunity because we've got a friend, two friends actually, in those areas, and they were asking for help from Malaysia, because they used to be in Malaysia before. So we took this opportunity to work with them. And we actually managed to send some amount of money, not much, but it's around 7,000 ringgit collected during the first 2 weeks. So to me, that's an achievement for DLM. And in fact, they sent a video to us with DLM in the background. They print out the DLM logos and stuff like that in about 3 or 4 trucks of food and blankets, whereby the money comes from the collection from DLM. And I was so extremely happy because they willing to work with us, and we trying to show to them that yes, we can work cross-border. So hopefully that this open up some eyes, in Malaysia, for those of you who like to work with us. We can scale this business actually. What I'm trying to say now is like they think that they have to sell part of their real estate from the screen, for example, the screen real estate of the website. They have to sell that portion for me to put my logo so that they can click the logo to donate to my website. But that's not necessarily the only way. The way is actually, I see myself as a distributed warehouse. It's a concept that we understand, but other people, it's very hard for me to explain. The concept's like this. We actually can buy food products or non-food products, for example, blankets, heater, and those kind of things. We can actually buy that at a negotiated price. In other words, we can lower the price, and with the donation money, we've got enough money to negotiate even lower price. And because we ourselves need profit, we have got a profit in there, but we're not making too much profit. So there is going to be a kind of, we have a restriction to ourselves. Like we try not to exceed 20%. We're trying to push it to 15% profit margin. Because we're social impact, we believe that through volume of sales, okay, like through volume of products, we manage to negotiate cheaper price, and hence we can give to more people. So this is where our strength is. And I actually, in the process of writing a white paper to invite those who wants to do this business together with me, with us, they can copycat our business model, and we will train them to use our system. So eventually, they will help impact more people, not just, for example, in my case, we only have got about 100 families that we are helping. We hope that with more partnership with us, we can help more families. So this is the idea that we're trying to scale, but it takes some time to convince people about our product, our business model. That's why I came up with the idea of writing a white paper, and I'm hoping that within 2 or 3 weeks, I can release this white paper on how we can run this business together. So I hope I can get more collaborators with us in the future. Not necessarily doing the food product. For example, with Lip Chau, for example, if Lip Chau wants to sell education, we can actually try to help Lip Chau identify who are the the children from the poor family, we identify them first, and then we can try to publish this in our website, and we try to get the donors to actually give these children a chance to study with Lip Chau's Learning Tigers. So these are the things that we can actually do, and we have done experiment work, in a few months, So this is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, very interesting. So I think it will be very exciting to actually see how you guys actually work together on that.
Yes,
Yeah.
hopefully we can work together. We have talked with each other actually.
We do have our first discussion already.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely what Lip Chau is doing, learning tigers, I can actually relate very well, especially when it comes to making impact, right? Starting at the lower generation, like generation below us, right? Definitely is the first thing that we can actually look at, right? I mean, although the environment, keeping the environment well is also good, because whatever that we are doing is still also for the next generation. Things like that. So very admire what both of you are doing on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, I know maybe different industry and different sector, we actually define differently. And in terms of the landscape wise, right? Different stakeholder also, support differently. Like for example, stakeholders like say government, like or NGO, the kind of support that you have for different kind of like impact startup will be different. So is there any specific like sectors or industry that we feel that have a greater potential in terms of like scaling social impact, startup? Which industry do you all feel like are actually good in terms of providing greater impact?
Yeah, I can probably speak from where we started. Learning Tigers is actually based in Sabah now, and we have options to go to somewhere bigger, hopefully. But since we are here, so a lot of social enterprises in Sabah actually focuses on agricultural, because there are a lot of farmers. I mean, this place has a vast land, right? But a lot of farmers, they have difficulties in marketing their products, and stuff like that. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs here, social entrepreneurs who actually help to help the farmers to collect their crops, and also make them to be more marketable, be it in agricultural, such as like rice or other agricultural product, right? And also like handcrafts, made of corn husks or something like that. So these are the things that a lot of social entrepreneurs here are helping the locals to improve their living by their hard work. Yeah, I mean, there are also enterprises here, help the farmers. Because of the farmers, they do not have banking system and stuff like that, so there is no proof for them to prove the income to the bank. So their access to bank loans are very, very minimal, because they don't have proof for their income and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Through some of these record the daily income, and then in the end of the month, these are my sales, something that really impacting the locals here. So yeah, just to long answer short, is agricultural and other stuff.
Yeah. I just want to add or there's a question from Ridwan as well, with the recent issue regarding Mr. Rakyat, which exploded. That's an interesting question, but I will try to add to what Lip Chau is talking about, and to answer Jaslyn's question. I know one organization. It's called bgbg.com. You can actually, I think it's called bg.com or bgbg.com. They're doing a social impact on environmental. So they're doing like cleaning up the oceans, in Malaysia, I'm talking about. And it's very interesting. It's just that I don't know how the business model is actually, they designed the business model. I'm not sure about that, but they seem to be quite well known. They seem to be doing some impactful work, like engaging students, and then doing some cleaning up work, and they're trying to collect all the plastics and all that. But that's more on environmental issues. So I can see that not just in terms of helping the poor, and not just education or agriculture, there are many social impact environment, that people can actually try to engage in. So there are a lot of opportunities in social impact, and I think Malaysia really need this, because we've got a lot of developing country problems like cleanliness, like air pollution and stuff like that. So we need people, and statistically, a lot of social impacts are actually being started by millennials. So this is very, very interesting. I look at the some data on that one, and it seems like they are the forefront of running this kind of business. So it gives me energy to see that these young people are actually interested in social impact business, and it's very interesting the way they conduct the business. And the only thing is we don't know what the business model is like. So yeah, coming back to answering Jesslyn's questions, there are many areas that people can do this social impact, and Malaysia really need this kind of people to start this social impact business in Malaysia. So I think maybe Lip Chau can answer first question from Ridwan. I think there's Jesslyn, do you want to read the question? I don't know where it is now.
Yeah, so with the recent issue regarding the Missy
maybe I can read it.
Rakyat, which explode the news because they are not transparent enough with the donation. How can DLM solve this problem? From my point of view, Missy Rakyat, got the backing of the Malaysian, and it is a good initiative.
Yes, this is a very good question actually. And Lip Chau, if you, with your permission, I answer the question first, because you've got a question before me.
There's a first question.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, I will answer that.
Go ahead.
The problems of the so-called Missy Rakyat is actually the transparencies. But having said that, this is not the only organization that is having problems. In 2020 and 2021, we've got religious figures who's actually involved in collecting money and give donations. And they've been involved in collecting donations for Malaysians as well as for Palestinians. And both of them, this is a very well-known figure in Malaysia. They went to Palestine, and a lot of things being dug up, like the photos that they're taking with the poor people, they're not genuine, and they're acting this and that. So issues like this are actually very common, but not a lot of people talk about it. So what actually happened is that because the system of helping the poor is not really well audited, and there's no rules for any non-profit organizations to actually present the accounting system, and therefore, there's no, they probably, I don't know how they pay the tax and stuff like that. But more so for a business like us, because we're paying tax, we've got all these ledgers and accounting, we are more transparent. So in other words, to counter this kind of activities, we at DLM, we have designed a system whereby we can track where the money goes. So we track the money from the donors, bank into our company's account, and we have got this ledger, and then we actually inform the donors that we have purchased the food products, and then we deliver the products to the poor, and the recipients are the ones verified by us, because we have interviewed the recipients and we have checked against Majlis Agama, we know these people, they are genuine, and we visited their house, we interviewed them. So all this information is actually in our database. So when we started to publish this, we call our system Infaq GPS, where all the donors can check at any point in time, they can log into our system and they can see that, oh, the money has bought the product. Oh, the product has not been sent yet. Oh, the product has been sent. And who are the recipients? There are names and the location of that person. Only the donors can see it, because it's It's a, it's a data, not supposed to be
yeah.
public, So we've got this system that we built. And after some times, I met another co-founder, and he's a Finland guy, and he's actually resides in Japan. And he said to me, why don't we use blockchain? That was the first time I heard of blockchain. I've heard of cryptocurrencies before. I didn't know the technology of cryptocurrency is actually blockchain. So since that year, 2021, I started to look into blockchain technologies and how it can be transparent, So we are incorporating this. We have tested some of them. And recently we just moved to another blockchain, which is coming up, strongly nowadays. It's called Internet Computer Protocol, ICP blockchain. And I have been appointed as a second co-founder for that in Malaysia and Thailand region. So this is another blockchain that we are now doing the testing, if you like. And by using this technology, all the donors, they can have peace of mind. When they donate, they know where the money goes and they can track it. And the data is transparent. And now with blockchain technology, everybody can see what actually happened. So there shouldn't be any issues of misi rakyat, just showing receipt is not enough. Showing receipt is not enough because receipt can be created. Receipt can be, that kind of thing. I can create receipt, I can print receipt. But with blockchain technology, the data is immutable because it's actually, once you log into the blockchain, it is going to be there and nothing is going to be destroying it, and it's very secure. So that's why we engage, that's why we incorporate blockchain into our system. And hopefully, with this video, hopefully, people can see that DLM is doing the first in Malaysia is doing this donation using blockchain. So that's how I would answer Ridwan's question.
Yeah, very interesting. So Lee Kuan Yew, if you have any, follow-up question, feel free to actually ask that question. Yeah, probably we can address the first question that we actually have. My mom was a ex-teacher. Sabah and Sarawak teachers have many ideas and initiatives to boost the education there, but they always had a hard time dealing with like government, for example. They always the last one to actually get help in terms of fund as well as the National Education Initiative. So what's your take on this? I'm keen to learn if Learning Tigers would help to actually solve this problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that question, Juan. Really appreciate that. I mean, there's the reason why Sabah keeps on being the poorest state in the country. I mean, I'm not sure about you guys know about this statistic or not, but 12% of the workforce in Sabah has no formal education. 12.1%, okay, compared to Malaysia average of 2.9%, which is 4 times more. All right, so just another statistic, in 2019, only 17.1% of the labor force in Sabah has tertiary education compared to a national level at 29.6%. So that's why, the state is lagging so far behind, and we wanted to contribute something to it while the government is figuring out how they can help with this, right? So one of the things that Learning Tigers is doing is we are partnering with one of the government agencies, Sabanet, to use the facilities that they have. So the facilities that they have in the rural areas are called e-Desa, where internet hotspots are available in surrounding area of probably 100 meters or so. So there is a building in that site, and it has 20 laptops and or computers where the residents in the proximity area, they can come and attend the online classes. So that's why we are partnering with Sabanet for that and offering the online classes for the community over there. And in Sabah, there are 31 locations like that all around the state. So this is one of the things that we are organizing with them, and also have gotten the permission from the Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri as well. So this is one of the initiatives that that we are doing. Just to answer your question. So in general, by bringing the resources that we have on the platform, because the platform enables teachers, even from nationwide, right? Anyone who has the teaching ability, have the qualification, they can register on the platform, then this can share the resources with the other students all around the country, including the smaller towns and stuff like that. Just one thing that on our platform, we noticed that there are about 15 to 20% of the students, they're actually coming from these smaller cities, like smaller cities in Sarawak and Sabah, like Ladatu, Kota Samarahan, Kanowit, Muka in Sarawak. So these are the students that we are seeing. So they really treasure this kind of resources, and hopefully this can help more and more people in Sabah and Sarawak.
Jaslyn, can I ask Lip Chau something, Jaslyn?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Excuse me. Lip Chau, I remember, was it sometime last year, there's a student who cannot do the exam because there's no internet connection. Is that correct? Something like that.
Yeah. Someone needs to go up to the tree. I think the student climbed the tree for the internet. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's right. So I was wondering, how do you overcome these kind of challenges? Because that means you have to work with the internet providers and stuff like that. Is that how you have to do it? Oh,
yeah. So that one is out of our control because, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I can.
Platform works with internet connection. What we can. You want to say something, Jaslyn? Yeah.
Sorry.
So we work the network provider.
Right. Yeah, actually, Lip Chau, I think the reason why you're having this problem because of the provider there is probably I'm not sure, maybe it's not fast enough or something like that, I would say. Is that correct? I mean, even during our conversation, this thing happens, but I'm not saying just in Sabah, in Perak as well. Sometimes, we don't have a nice, smooth, internet connection. And this is where the students are actually facing a lot of problems when they are studying through online. So I can appreciate the problem that you're facing. It's a very humongous job that you are doing. But you're doing a very good job, actually, Lip Chau. It's something that I think we should emulate.
Yeah, actually, there are some service provider in Malaysia where, instead of like usual internet SIM card, they actually provide those satellite, perhaps this kind of company can actually come in play to actually solve this issue. But maybe I can share one story that I actually heard, not in Malaysia, but in Thailand during pandemic. Because a lot of like students, they can't go to school, due to lockdown, social distancing, things like that. So apparently those like, car share, Grab, similar Grab company, that kind of like similar company, what they do is actually they work directly with, say, the provider. So what they actually willing to actually sponsor the trip of sending rented, laptops, right, to the kids' place, so that they are able to actually use, the laptop itself to actually attend classes. So this is something that I actually heard, like, during that period of time, actually corporates or startups, right, come together to actually collaborate on that to provide such access to students during that period of time. Yeah. So like, for example, in Singapore, how, Singapore did is the government actually intervened. So those students who do not have like laptops, right, who can study from home, right? What I heard is they actually have those like, they open up some of the computer labs in the school to have some of them to at least they have access to the computer laptops to utilize to continue their study, like, even though other classmates actually stay at home. Yeah, I'm not sure, do you have that during this period of time? Any other kind of like activities that actually help this group of like students? Yeah. Do you have any interesting kind of like collaboration?
Well, I must admit, I can't quite remember whether any efforts from the government actually. I mean, I must admit, Singapore is probably years ahead of us, in terms of the social caring of the society. I feel like probably we're lacking in that sense. I'm not sure, but maybe Lip Chau knows more about this.
Yeah, yeah. So what I experienced, I'm not sure whether you get the point just now, the line is the intermittent. So what we have here are the e-Desa, the hotspot building that, the government agency, e-Desa, is building. So each of the e-Desa consists of 20 computers, be it desktop or laptop. So the communities over there can access, all kind of information, may it be educational or on a news basis, right? So the government does provide this kind of stuff in those areas. What they need to do is really having more of those hotspots to benefit more of the communities in the rural areas. So, yeah, this is something that we do partner with them to provide the classes access to the rural communities.
Right. So there are government efforts there, isn't it? There's, I suppose it's state government. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes, this is state government. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think one thing very interesting, not on the social side, but more on environment side. I think what government is actually doing pretty well is, this is what we actually recently heard due to some of the works that we do, right? There's this directory called My Hijau, directory, where they actually allow companies who actually supply green solution to actually list over there. And once you get the mark, government-related project will have to spend 20% of their budget procuring such solutions in the directory, something like this. I think that is something very impressive, that is actually faster than Singapore, I believe, based on my opinion.
Oh, I see. So there are some things, obviously, I don't know.
Yeah, so some green tech, thing on the environment aspect. Yeah.
I think that's one more question. Is that another question from Zahabi? Is that correct?
Yes. Fundraising related with license from Security Commission. Do DLN looking towards to that?
Right. Okay. The interesting thing is, yes, I'm aware about fundraising requires some kinds of license, and there are many issues here. Some people said that we have, for example, if we collect donation for sekolah agama, religious schools, for example, excuse me, we have to ask permission from the state religious body. Okay, so this is one of the regulations, and of course, the Security Commission also need us to register to get this license. But actually, we are not a fundraising business. We're actually in selling products business. So in other words, we have got products to be handed over to the poor. Okay, so we are selling this product and we are asking them to actually buy this product so that we can help send this product to the poor. So this is how we do our own business. The reason why I say that we are more efficient than NGOs is because NGOs typically, not all, okay, I'm saying in general, they have to spend some 20% to 30% of the money collected to pay for the advertisement. So this is where our challenge is, because we don't pay for advertisement. And if they do advertisement, they have to pay Facebook or YouTube, and these are not cheap. It's really expensive. And you can see this advertisement is always repeated. It's always once in a while, you can keep seeing it almost every day. So what that means, they know that most of the donations are coming from the viewers of the YouTube or Facebook. Hence, they are willing to actually invest some of the donors' money to do this, advertising, so that they get more people. Hence, they have to actually sacrifice some amount of money, maybe a good 20 to 30% in the form of advertisement, and also in the form of administrative work. For example, in order for them to drive a truck to a flooded area, they need people, they need to feed the volunteers, they need to buy fuel for the trucks or pickup trucks, whatever. So these are the expenses incurred. So when we do our research, we found out, like, for example, if we've got 100 ringgit, and if the product is 10 ringgit each, okay, per food box, just an example so that you can see what happens, yeah? Through non-profit organizations, typically the 100 ringgit, 40% of it gone, and you can only buy food product for 6 people. I'm assuming that one food product, one food box around 10 ringgit. But with DLM, all the 100 ringgit is actually spent on the food products, which we purchase, and we send all these 10 food products, 10 food boxes, sorry, to these recipients. In other words, for each 100 ringgit, we are better off because we actually spend all the money buying the food because we don't rely on advertisement. So this is the challenges that we have. We actually use a lot of word of mouth. We give talks to universities, to colleges, but we have to strike the balance. We cannot do these activities every day. Okay, sometimes we just open a table, like in the car park, in in the shopping mall, for example, and we dish out the flyers, and we printed these flyers, so we are not asking for the money. And when people want to donate the money there and then, we said, no, you buy from, we guide them. Go to dlm2u.com, you choose the product that you want to purchase for the poor. So it's actually, we don't collect money. We ask them to buy the products online. So therefore, we are more transparent. And when we did this in Ipoh, in Taiping, we travel out station once in a while, and Kuala Kangsar, small towns, we got good response. It's just that we have to keep telling them, because we don't do advertisement, we have to keep appearing. So this is where I request for help from the general public. So if you go to dlm2u.com, in one of the menu, we put in how to join us. In Malay, we've got a menu that says Sertai Kami. We listed out 10 ways that you can help us. So, if you don't mind, the viewers of this video after recording, whenever you're free, please feel free to visit our website. We have listed, 10 things, 10 ways that you can help us. For example, you can spread the news about our social media, or you can actually offer your time with us, or you can actually donate, even as small as $5, 5 ringgit, that is. And we can help this poor to get out of poverty in about 18 to 24 months. This is our mission. We want to get this family to be out of poverty. And better still, if some of you can offer like a dropship business for the poor, some of them we can train. We can train them to do marketing for us. So, not only that, that means they're getting income. By doing this, we are now slowly reducing the poverty. We are trying to help us. We're not doing one-off. Our DLM activities always being with the poor people regularly. We check them. We find out about whether the roof is leakage or not. So these are the activities that we need support. Okay, because we don't do advertisement. So it'll be nice if all the viewers can just share our social media to your friends and so forth. That'll be great. So I hope I answered Zahabi's question regarding that.
Yeah, good to hear the clarification. Okay, seems like there's one question for myself. Would you mind to share what Blackstone initiative on social impact, and maybe you can share what Singapore government initiative on this as well? Okay, so for Blackstone ourselves, we don't have a special initiative, that highlight on social impact, but what we have is we always believe that educating people is very important. Okay, we have initiative like female entrepreneurship, encouraging women, whether they are actually working or whether they are not working, who actually want to step into the working workforce, right? We do provide this kind of like mini circles, female entrepreneurship talks, right? This is one of the initiatives that we actually have to actually let people to share about how do they actually run their own business, especially female entrepreneur, to inspire another female entrepreneur. So this is what we do. But some of the companies that we scale are pretty much impact company. Okay, like for example, we have digital twin company who can actually save the environment. But while at the same time, it may be a bit dispute, like people will say that, okay, this kind of like high tech company will replace work that, like replace the role of a security guard. To be honest, I think this question is always disputable, whether technology will actually replace some other roles itself. I think what usually will advise, when it comes to like positioning for social entrepreneurship, right? It's not about replacing job also. Tech is not about replacing job also. It can actually help people in general sense, meaning if a business is able to do well, there will be more job, or you can actually reskill people into another job. Yeah, so this is what we actually do, for Western Consulting. For Singapore, I will share a little bit like what does social entrepreneur look like in Singapore. There are usually few types. Number one, F&B business, they will hire less privileged like people. Could be people from the jail, could be people from mother, or it could be like retiree to take out certain job. So government actually has some support grants to do so, where you actually hire people of a certain age. Okay, and also there was once where encourage retiree to actually go back to the workforce. So so grants that SME can actually apply for if you were to hire this group of like people. So that's an initiative that government have been doing. I think what Roslan actually mentioned, millennials are actually looking into it, or Gen Z, they are also looking into having social impact, making social impact. So there was once I was also mentoring a group of students from NTU, a university in Singapore, right, where they among themselves, they volunteered and just set up a club, okay, where they approach of NGO, like those who actually gather young kids, like primary school kids, students, after school, because sometimes they do not have that, their parents are working, so they do not have people to take care of them. So they have NGO who actually gather these people, these kids, and then teach them or give them after class kind of like lesson, or look after them. Yes, correct. Yeah, so what this group of students did is they actually create a entrepreneurship program for the kids. Yeah. So they
this is fantastic, actually. I mean, the students themselves creating entrepreneurship for the kids.
For the kids.
Wow, this is very commendable. Amazing.
Yeah, they didn't go, it's a volunteer work. So basically they do it for, for fun, to begin with. So what I was usually, as a consultant, right, we know that even if you volunteer to do this, you guys are still students. Eventually, when you graduate or whatsoever, this whole initiative will go off. So instead of like just focusing on volunteering your time, creating this course, just to help a small group of students, maybe you need to look into being more creative in terms of your business model. Okay. You can provide social impact, but at the same time, you may even need to think about, to make it more sustainable, how do we actually earn certain funds to even run all this mini thing? You need logistic fee, you need, you need to hire maybe some coordinator or whatsoever. So what I actually advise them is look into getting some sponsor to sponsor all this program. Definitely there are brands who would like to sponsor this program for marketing reason or whatever purpose. This is one of the potential areas that you can actually look at to make it more sustainable. So in a nutshell, I just want to say that yes, there are initiatives here and there, but to be honest, at the end of the day, to make it more sustainable, you still need to get certain funds to stay afloat.
Yes.
And that's how you can actually bring more impact to whatever objective that you are trying to achieve. Yeah. So so I hope that answered your question.
Great sharing, Jocelyn there. That actually brings up to a point that I want to bring up just now. That's the need to identify the need for collaboration between, like the sponsor that you said, Jocelyn, or even some government agencies between the entrepreneurs and startup founders. So that's in order to scale social impact startup, it's important for these groups right, to work together, be it, between the entrepreneur themselves or the social or the government agencies or even the sponsors, right? So that the government agencies can provide support through, some funding or sponsorship or even policies, right, that encourage social entrepreneurship, right? And entrepreneurs and startup founders can bring the innovative ideas or solution to tackle some of the social problems that you mentioned just now. The school kids after school, they don't have really something meaningful to do. So by collaborating, these groups of people can create more supportive ecosystem that helps the startup to scale and make greater impact to the society.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, different stakeholders within the ecosystem have their own role.
Yeah.
So one party is actually not good enough to do so. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we are actually coming to the end of the discussion. Any last thought that you guys would like to actually share with fellow social startup?
Okay, I'll try first. I would like to say to the viewers, we have designed a very good business model, and for those of you who would like to try out to actually experience this social impact business with us, feel free to contact me, and I will share this business model with you guys, and we will share the system. We'll offer the system for you to try on, and you will see how this can actually make money. And the most interesting thing is we actually help people's life to get better. So we're not just helping one off. DLM is actually helping continuously. The same family, we focus on the one particular family and the next family and next family and next family. And we've got several families, and now we've got about 100 of them that we're caring for. And we're trying to get a continuous fund to help them out. And most interesting thing is, if you can help us out, by just spreading our activities, spread the news, I'm sure these families can join the normal society. They will contribute to other poor families as well one day, because that's what we've been telling them to do. So hopefully, come and contact us, visit our website, dlm2u.com, and have a look at our strategy, how our strategy is going to be very effective in helping the poor, and find out how we can make money together. So that's all I can say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lip Chau,
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I just want to mention that, as social impact startup, if you are one of the social impact startup, it is important to build partnerships and networks with other organizations or stakeholders, right? So this include, other players, or partnering with NGOs or universities or corporations that can access resources or expertise or collaboration with other startups to share knowledge and best practices, right? So by building strong partnerships and networks, social impact startups can amplify their impacts and create more sustainable business model. So yeah, just one of the thoughts that I want to leave it out there before we end this session.
Yeah. So for myself, I think to reiterate, at the end of the day, also think about how do you actually fund this whole initiative in advance. Doing good is definitely good to actually have, but to have it sustainable, I think in terms of the whole cycle, it's definitely very important to think about it, before you go into, this particular mission. So I would say that, you can have a social impact company. The definition of social impact is different. It can also be a high-tech company who earn a lot, while providing social impact. So, probably as a social company, define clearly like what do you want to actually achieve out of it. And at the same time, like what Lip Chau mentioned, getting a very good support, from like various partners and stakeholders is actually pretty key to actually help you to achieve your objective, stuff like that. Yeah. So you can have like multiple different companies, and one of that is social company. achieving our mission while at the same time you have some other, revenue stream to actually fund it and creating a cycle, that will be the best.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah. To make sure the financial statement is always in the black.
Yeah,
Yes,
always in the
yes,
black.
always in the black. Yeah. Now I know why it's Black Storm. Very good.
Yeah, I also today is the first time that I know what is DLM. I've been trying to ask. I thought, yeah. So is it something to do with donation? Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it's a very good session, speaking to, both gentlemen. So thank you very much for joining us today. And we have come to the end of the session. So again, if you would like to actually connect with us to ask further questions, you can actually feel free to actually connect with us via LinkedIn or go to the startupstorm.asia. There will be other events next week. Feel free to join us.
Right.
All right.
Thanks very much,
Thank you very
Jaslyn.
much,
Thank you, Lip Chau.
Jaslyn,
Thank you, the viewers,
Roslan.
everybody.
Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
the session with you guys. Thank
Yes,
you.
me too. Enjoy it. Thanks, Lip Chau and
Thanks.
Jaslyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Have a good night to you too.